Hey guys, so while my camp was still in New York, we all got to go on Broadway and see the one and amazing Tony Award winning Hadestown. Here are my thoughts.
Guys, this is the set for Hadestown. The show is awesome, and we're literally getting ready to do a talk back. What is going on?
I just saw my eye got from the tree.
Guys, this is my first time seeing Hadestown. Oh my gosh, wait, what did you think?
Stop! It was so good. We were all grabbing each other and crying. And
We were literally all bowling our eyes out.
crying and grabbing each other's hands. I could not. I think you were not. I fully bowled during the finale.
So did I. Was literally I could not control myself.
I was gone during the finale.
Wait, guys, Loki, we were 10 feet away, not even that,
2 feet.
2 feet away from Orpheus,
And
Eurydice, and one of the fates, and one of the musicians, and one of the dancers.
We literally talked to them.
We literally talked to them.
I could like
I literally got to ask a direct question to Orpheus, bro. What?
I can't even believe this happened. What?
Let me get my glasses on and then I will. Well, actually, I can kind of start now, I guess. One second. So, last night, my camp got to see Hadestown. I didn't get a script because they weren't selling them. But I did get some merchandise. Where is it? This is the playbill that they had. And, ooh, that's my ticket. I got a fan because, the fates. And then there's one more one. Here it is. And then I got a flower pen so I can put it on my John Proctor bag. I didn't show you guys all the merch, but yes, I got the script for John Proctor and I got the bag for John Proctor as the villain. So now I can put this on my bag. That reminds me of my time here in New York seeing Broadway shows. So I'll keep this out. So like I did for John Proctor's The Villain, I'm probably just going to go over how I thought about the overall show and then talk about what I took away from it as well as from my Christian point of view. And I also forgot to mention that we did get another talk back with the actors, and I got to ask my own personal question that of course they all got to answer. Not even just the actors, we got to talk to one of the musicians, the pianist, because Hadestown, they have live music on stage playing the tracks, so it was so lively and I just loved it so much. But I asked them about choices they made at the beginning of the process or choices that they changed, and some of them said, well, I don't want to ruin the show for you. But they answered the questions very well. And a lot of them were super deep. and everything, and I just really enjoyed hearing it from the actor's point of view, much like I did for John Proctor as the villain. Now, for the set and the props in the show, my gosh, I think, yeah, there's some clips. There's some clips. The clips before this, literally you could tell how excited we were and exactly how emotional we got. I think I didn't know if I got any of us actually crying by the end of the show, but it was just those last moments of Orpheus losing Eurydice that got me. I knew it was coming. I listened to the soundtrack, and I don't want to. For those that haven't seen the show, sorry for the spoilers, but this is what I thought of Hadestown. So, yeah, you're gonna hear some stuff. But those final moments of Orpheus losing Eurydice, and then everybody acting so. It's as the words go, it's a sad song, and they're gonna sing it again and again and again, and just the feeling of that sad song, but how there's still hope in a way that again and again and again represents resilience, or at least I think that it represents resilience. How Orpheus literally kept going, never stopped, never at a moment I think he did fear backing down, but when he rose up and didn't give up on her, on someone he loved, I think that's what that again and again and again represents. Because even though it's a sad song, there's so much meaning behind it that reflects on the human heart, and not only our heart but God's heart, and how far he is and he was willing to go in order to rescue us from the pits of hell, and giving us the opportunity to come home to him in heaven. And much like Orpheus promising all of these things to Eurydice, in the kingdom of heaven, God promises those too. But Hades representing darkness, and I think from a Christian aspect, hell, literally the devil. Hades promised Eurydice a lot more, but she still went down and regretted her decision of going down there in the first place, because she realized that you're going to forget who you were. You're never going to be the same. You are going to lose everything. You're not going to gain anything from this. And if you don't have an identity, then there's really no point in, what am I trying to say? If you don't yourself find yourself having an identity, if you don't know who you are anymore, then what is the point of all of this? You've forgotten who you were, who you are, where you came from, who you used to love, because love doesn't exist down there. And neither there's grace or mercy or forgiveness. It's like the workers on the wall, their minds are numb. They can't see anything. They have ears, but they can't hear, because everything around them, they've forgotten. Everything around them is just building a wall now. And that's what they're constructed to do. Much like hell, or anything that you'll be constructed to do is chaos, and you might regret that decision. But when she goes back, or tries to go back up with Orpheus, that is representing God pulling you out of the well, that tunnel of sin, and that tunnel of sorrow, and God is pulling you out of that, because he will come to you and he will be right behind you the whole time. And that reminds me of something else in Orpheus' story, where he has doubt creeping in all this time when they're coming back from Hadestown. and all this doubt is creeping in, but Eurydice is right behind him the entire time, much like God is right behind us all the time. When we do something wrong, he's waiting right there. But most of us are afraid to look back at him because we don't want to feel shame. However, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we always want to look back because we feel like he's not there or that he's not following us. And when Orpheus turns around in the end, yes, that doubt crept in. But from my point of view as a Christian, I think that is representative of us as sinners turning around and looking to God and being like, you are here and you're here to stay. The only difference with the show and what I just said is that as soon as he says that, Eurydice drops back down to Hadestown and he can't do anything about it and it's gone. But the thing with Christians and Christianity is that no matter how many times you go back down to Hadestown or in a tunnel of darkness, God will always be there to pick you back up and pull you back out. And he'll be right there, back on the journey with you, back up from that sin, from that sorrow, from that pain. This is getting really good. Sorry. I don't really have anything to comment on Hades and Persephone. I feel like their characters are reflected in Orpheus and Eurydice's characters, Persephone being Orpheus and Hades being Eurydice's. I love how Persephone and Orpheus both have that concept of hope and holding on to what could be and not what was, and how Orpheus mainly is a symbol of that hope. He is reflecting the hope for a new spring, and Persephone is that spring, and she's trying to come back up to the surface. And she over and over again tries to convince her husband, hey, this is what could be up there. This is what it is now, and this is what it could be. So, and Orpheus never loses that hope until the very end. Of course, he has a conflicting moment of whether he wants to go back or not after learning that Eurydice signed the contract with their own hands. But I think that's more speaking to his heartbreak, that symbolically she left him for another man, a man that didn't truly love her like he did, wasn't going to take care of her like he did. So yeah, now there is the concept of the wall, and that speaks to Hades. Okay, there's the concept of the wall in general, and Hades being the king of the underworld. Not only that, the king of the electric city, which I thought was very interesting, speaking to modernization and exactly what is going on. It sounds, based on like railroad, it sounds industrial, of course. So but the wall, having workers build on the wall, having fearing the cracks in the wall, those are those cracks of doubt creeping in, and more and more cracks show, then it makes it more possible for people to knock it down. Much like the wall we have in our hearts, when we let those cracks and the vulnerability show, like Hades was afraid to do, he fears that somebody will take him down and knock him down, but that's just not true. All Orpheus and Eurydice wanted to do was leave, but if he showed mercy, he'd be a spineless king, and if he didn't, he'd just be an awful person, and especially in front of Persephone. If after that little moment that they had where they danced, I mean, he basically just re-sparked the love that he had for her. Orpheus' song re-sparked the love that he had for her. And he felt guilty that if he didn't give that same kind of outcome to the pair that literally came down here, especially and gave Orpheus the benefit of the doubt, then he'd just be an awful person, and he really did not want that, especially after everything that he just went through. But in our world today, I think that wall is super important, because we build walls all the time. And speaking of the wall, like seriously, all of this trouble with immigrants and building a wall and keeping the poverty out. But I guess it's just so, it makes you wrap your mind around what's happening in the real world. And one of the long lines of the show is that we raise our cups to the world that we live in now. Or we raise our cups to the world, I'm just guessing it's this. We raise our cups to the world we wish to become, and to the one we live in now. The one we live in now, surrounded by chaos and poverty and coldness. And when Persephone crosses that wall and shuts the world out from her light, from her spring, Hades is shutting some things that could be really good out. That could be really good out if he just let Persephone up. But I think you can pretty much piece together what I'm gonna say about the actual wall and how Hades acting like a king. And I know that we have a lot of no king protesting right now. And I'm absolutely, but yes, but that's not what this is about. It's about Hadestown in my take. But Hades is acting like a king, and he's built this wall trying to attempt to keep his people free and safe away from poverty and what he sees as bad things. But others can have their own view on it. If you know that somebody like Orpheus can come from this world and still have hope and carry it down to the underworld, a place with darkness and pain and death, just steamrollers and just, yeah. If you know somebody like Orpheus can live in a world or be in a world like that and still carry hope and love for somebody he cherishes like a treasure, then you should look for those people every single day in your life. You should look for the Orpheuses that we have in our world that carry that hope, that trust, that love, and that red flower of hope and trust and love is so powerful. I didn't really look up the symbolism in the play with the red flower. I didn't think it needed to be explained. Basically, I think that red flower is representing the breakdown of the wall. Hades, a stone cold king, made a flower grow at the end. And when that flower appeared, he let his walls down and he became vulnerable. And so that hope and trust and love, if you can let that break down and crumble your walls, or at least crack them a little, then the flowers can grow in the cracks. And you don't have to stay stone cold, because those flowers will grow out into the wall and they will end up covering that wall. And the flowers grow over time. So you just have to let that happen, and let that keep happening. Let's see. One of the actors, one of the Fates, the one who played the what's it called, accordion, said something really interesting. She was talking about community and singing it again and again and again, and resilience. Community is the place of people around you that show that resilience and show that hope, never giving up, and are willing to sing it again and again, even if things are sad and even if the world is not peaceful. We can still sing it again and again and again, the same sad song. But at the end of the play, they had something interesting. Even though they sang the song again, it had a different beginning, almost. The Fates were not around Eurydice when she lit that match. And she could just, instead of having somebody blow it out constantly, that light stayed on. And that represented her change and her hope and a new beginning for her. When the story started over again, things changed up a bit. And yeah. So it won't always be the same sad song, exactly the same at least. It won't always be that way. There will be changes happening, and we just have to believe that they will happen. And we have to believe and hope that things will come out in the end, because in the end, God is in control, and we can't really do anything about that. But we know that God is a merciful and good and merciful God, and He will take care of us in the last moments, because He loves us and He cares for us, and He would go down to Hadestown and pull us back out of the tunnel of darkness and suffering and pain. And if we forget who we are, we always have Him to remind us of who we are. So that, yeah, there's something else that I had. Looking back. Okay. I know I talked about Orpheus looking back earlier, but I also wanted to say that is symbolism for not looking back on the past that causes you pain. You can still learn from those mistakes time and time again, again and again and again. But do not stay locked on those feelings. Stay focused on a future that gives you hope. If you have felt that somebody has left you before, like Eurydice left Orpheus, then don't stay locked on those feelings so much that the doubt starts creeping in, and that you start feeling like something is going to happen and something bad. Stay focused on a future that gives you hope and gives you a possibility of something great, you know? And I think that's such a hard concept for us in this world to grasp, because in this world we are all making a lot of mistakes, I think. And I could go on and on about what I feel like we're doing wrong, both from my political and religious standpoint, but I'm not going to do that. And all that I can say is that instead of ignoring a past that upsets us, okay, I'll say it like this: instead of ignoring a past that upsets us, we can still learn from it, but do not repeat those actions, and do not let it scare you away and keep you from achieving something in the future, because that speaks a lot more than because that fear based on past mistakes is a lot more powerful than it can keep you away from a lot of things, is what I'm trying to say. It can keep you away from a lot. And if you ever want to take those opportunities and take that jump and leap into a brand new future, you have to take the risk to jump down, or keep looking forward, or not to jump down, but to not jump down, but to keep looking forward. Eye on the prize is what they say. And don't let anything or anyone stray you from that prize. Not unless God tells you to do something different. Otherwise, you really can't help that. So, and again, the red flower, keep going to try and get to something or someone that you believe in and that you love. Do not let the big baddies of this world that act high and mighty, call themselves kings and gods, and act like dictators, making you forget exactly where you came from and who you are now. Do not let them stop you from achieving a future that you want. And do not let them stop you from going after something you love. So, yeah, that's what I thought of Hadestown. And this show, we were sobbing, we were screaming, we were crying, we were literally, oh my gosh, it was me in my row, and I had my friend Ben sitting next to me. He had never seen the show before, so we were just like, oh my gosh, this is all so amazing, and the ceiling and the set is literally dividing itself. And my girl group and the girls behind us, we were all, it was hilarious. We were all like grabbing each other's arms, shaking each other, and because we could not get over exactly how this musical made us feel. It was so powerful. And even though I'd listened to the soundtrack like 3 times, you can never truly get over that loss, that feeling of emptiness, that feeling of he came so close. And that is what really mattered. The fact that he came so close, but looked back and he almost had her, and he had gone to the pits of hell for her, Hadestown for her. And in the end, all it was doubt. And when doubt crept in, that's where he failed. Much like Hades every year going back for Persephone, because he wasn't sure that she was ever going to come back willingly. She wasn't sure that her love was he wasn't sure that her love was strong enough for her to be willing to come back to a world that seemed so awful and cold, because not even Eurydice wanted to be in a world like that. So I think that there are bits and pieces of Hades, Persephone, Orpheus, and Eurydice in each other that reflect off of each other, where they are alike in a lot of ways. And you can also see our world and our individual people and our people groups around us in that play. And so it's very powerful. I completely recommend seeing it because it is just so magical. And I got to see it on Broadway and it was awesome. That's my 3rd Broadway show now. So hopefully in the future I'll get to see more. Yeah, gosh, guys, hopefully you'll I can't describe it, but you'll probably see it in the clips how exactly we reacted. But anyway, thank you for listening, and yeah, the show was great. I totally recommend it, and thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys later.
What did you say? What's your reaction to
Saddest thing that's ever happened to me in my life is Orpheus turning around.
Bro, they did say it was a sad song.
He was beautiful. Oh my god, his eyelashes. I was like, oh my god, he was so close. He was like right there. He was like, I didn't stop.
So bad.
I know, me too.